Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello and welcome. This is not just Super Sunday, but it's also the season finale here on Apex Racing TV for the Weekend Warriors. Kicking things off with the Formula 4s. We've got the SRFs coming up in around about 2 hours time here on the channel. But for now, we head to Road America for the season finale, where 2 seasons ago we saw the most dramatic finish to a championship that you will ever see. I'm Tim Cox. We've got Smoola Kula in the virtual production trailer. Charles Blachal joins me very, very shortly. First thing, let's just look through the championship standings as we head into this 12th and final round here from Road America. Christian Kabanka cannot be beaten already, our series champion for Spec 1. Jason Green and Motor Street, though, close yet again coming into this final round. We'll keep half an eye on that one as to who's going to come out second and third in the championship. McConnell fourth. There's Alessandrini, Renders, Jakeson, Ball, Amanda, Soto, rounding out your top 10. Across now into Spec 2. Oh, well, another championship already pretty much sewn up. It's Harris, but again, second and third still up for grabs between Saunders and Paul Stevens. Fernandez, he lies in fourth with only 5 points behind him, Jesse Bottas. There's Stano 6 for the Bruges, Montgomery, Scriven and Wishen running out your top 10 there. Across now into the Masters Championship. Yorgmani, another championship already sewn up for him. Tagasi is looking very comfortable in second with Murakami solid in third. And then it's Race, Coffee, Ray, Laurie, Toms, Brewster and Walbolt to round out your top 10 there. Charles, welcome along. Classic circuits and, well, always fraught with speed and danger and overtakes. Just enough amount of craziness to make this an epic race.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me in, Tim. And yeah, this is I've talked with a couple of guys who I know that did a lot of SCCA, and this is believe it or not, a big SCCA track. I mean, lots and lots of racing here during the year in real life. So it's no surprise that this is the last round on the calendar for this season, and I'm looking forward to it. I love Road Atlanta. As far as the track, it's got the nickname America's National Park of Speed because it is technically a national park, and they do a lot of racing here. And I'm just thinking, I don't think I've seen or been involved in a race this season since we've had the changes to the, we talked about all season, the off-track, physics And that's going to save a lot of cars today because obviously there's a couple of trouble spots on the track that usually end up, where the cars are being collected into the wall. I think a lot less of that today, so this should make for some fun racing.
This section of the track being one of them, I think really they already come into play. Of course, turn 5 always the epitome of trouble and treacherousness on the opening laps and chance to make a big move up the inside. But when it gets technical through this section, from 5 onwards, realistically to the kink at 11, it's going to be interesting, certainly through the kink where people can run off. They have run off, and I'm sure we will see people run off during the course of the race. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, as you said, with these improved off-track physics that we've had this season. I believe as well some tweaks for reading the notes as well coming for next season to said off-track physics, as there goes Antonio Race, just showcasing what will happen potentially if you do run off track. But qualifying underway right now. We've got 6 minutes and a bit of change left in that. Yorgmani top of the pile right now, and Jason Green 3 tenths off the pace. I mean, Marnie, look at that. I mean, he is a second clear of McConnell, who's in 5th. That's about as big a gap as we've seen all season.
Oh, definitely. It's normally we've got 15 cars in the top and within a second of pole. So that's a big gap. Kind of makes me wonder if Monty had a bit of a slipstream on his quali lap, because obviously that's going to play a big role because this is a big track, lots of straightaways. And if you time it right, you can get a good run, especially like here down the front straight into turn 1. And then as you were talking about, that run down to turn 5, the hardest braking zone on the track, where we always see, it seems like Calamity Corner, not to be confused with Canada Corner, which is on the other end of the track. But so yeah, I think that's as we see Green now taking pole by 9 milliseconds. So yeah, I think we may get a chance to see this tighten up before it's all done.
Just keep an eye on it for you, Charles. Marnie has just gone fastest of anyone in Spec 1. I've been half watching Green and Marnie in the build-up before we came live, and they've been swapping around places lap after lap, so I think that's going to be a battle that's going to be really interesting with those two out on track together, clearly working together. There's Philip Fernandez just heading off into the grass, clearly getting one last lap in before he refuels up, and oh dear, that's a bit treacherous for Tom Lorry, who's struggling right now. Not set a time so far in qualifying. Three laps completed, all times deleted, so not what he would have hoped. Overstreet, well down right now, down in 12th. A bit unexpected, although with no one to draft off, that's playing a part of it. Chris Simpson, fastest in practice, is 3 tenths off the pace at the moment in qualifying. And Chris Kubanka not on top. He's just got himself promoted. He swapped around with Simpson on that second row, those two trading 3rd and 4th place. However, not on the front row where we normally come to expect to see him. He's having a bit of a look. This gas is just improving and moving up a slot for him into 6th. And, well, I think that's pretty much everyone else. He's sort of, inverted commas, out of position, shall we say.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, I was watching Chris Simpson during practice of the, before qualifying, and he was really working hard. This car obviously doesn't have a rear wing, so not much downforce to speak of. It's obviously very aerodynamic, but he was really working on just working the slip angles in the corners to see how far he could push. So even if he doesn't move up to pole, he may be a name to kind of watch out for during the race.
I tell you what, one to watch out for as well. Yet to set a time because he's on his first flying lap is Tim Hendrickson. He's roundabout through Canada Corner right now. So he's going to be one to watch out for us. There going, Kabanka goes top. I tell you what, we're seeing a lot of chopping and changing in his last stages of qualifying. We don't normally see that as Simpson improves, moves back up to 4th, having been displaced by Race, and Kabanka obviously moving up through the field. Murakami improves, just goes 9th. Hamada currently in 8th position. Well, it's still all to play for. This one is going to be interesting. What's Hendrickson got up his sleeve on the first lap? Or we're going to set well, we could potentially attempt a last to first challenge. Highest I-rating driver in the field by a country mile, 8.6k. Next highest is Yorgmani, 6.3.
Yeah, he's definitely got the I rating that he should be putting up, and he was, like I said, I think he was second in practice. So yeah, he'll be a name to watch out for, and maybe he's just kind of prepping for that last lap. Of course, obviously we've hit the 20-minute qualifying, but that'll run over. So anybody that's on their flying lap when the timer expires will get to finish that. This is obviously not quite as long as Nürburgring, so you've only got about 3 minutes or so to have to wait.
On board with Antonio Race, getting a lovely slipstream right now off of Jason Green, who's going to allow him to slingshot his way past as we head down towards Canada Corner onto the brakes. Marnie just behind him in the distance as well. Well, this could be a real... wow, let's have a look at this. Sector 1, fastest of anyone, Antonio Race. Improvements in Sector 2, Sector 3 as well. What we're going to see in Sector 5 from him, I think he's got slower in Sector 4 though. Yes, he has. So looking like this could be a solid lap and then moving up through the field potentially for the Portuguese driver. As we run to the line now, what's it going to be as he cuts the time? My voice can't cope when he goes first.
Yeah, it was obviously a good run by Antonio to move up to third place. And so now we're starting to see that those times tighten up. The top 5 within basically just a little over a tenth of a second.
It's recovered. Good news. Getting that one out of the way.
All right.
Ah, dear. It's all the anticipation, Charles. We've got such a great race coming ahead of us, and my voice can't cope already.
Yeah, that's a 1x for your qualifying lap, so we'll let you get another chance at that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a lovely analogy. I love that. But just talking temperatures right now and track conditions, 22 degrees Celsius, 71 Fahrenheit. So definitely applicable for this time of year, isn't it? Nice and cool track temperatures, plenty of grip, but does make the tyres a bit more challenging to bring in as checkered flag is out in the session.
Yeah, yes. Obviously, there's not a lot of heat in the track. That's 71 Fahrenheit track temp. Is just it's just a normal autumn day, early autumn day in Wisconsin. So yeah, they'll have to be very careful on the first couple of laps as they get the tires up to temp.
They will indeed. There's laps stage improvements on final lap. Overstreet well off the pace. Hammander, he's gone down to 10th. Hendrickson did not set a lap, so he'll be starting from the back. So that's going to be one to watch out for. Though I think actually he's still going to get in his final lap potentially. 2 minutes 21.3 is your pole time from Kabanka. 1/10. Well, not even that. Separates our top 4 with Race and Marnie, the 2 Masters rivals, separated by 1,000th of a second.
Could you expect anything less from those guys? I mean, Antonio, Marnie, we talk about them every week. Those 2 guys, along with Chris Murakami, who you'll see out there as well. It just always seems like they're just at the top of the board. They're always together as far as their lap times, very tight, and they're usually running the top 5 most races. So it doesn't surprise me to see those guys separated by that small of a gap, and so they'll be sharing the second row.
I tell you what, the Masters really taking a stranglehold. 4 in the top 10, 5 in the top 11. Harris top of Spec 2, he's 12. To put it in perspective, Masters really showing why they are called Masters, shall we say. Although it be due to age, well, with age comes experience and wisdom. As myself and Charles know. So we're looking really strong for them right now. However, intrigued by that Stevens for Bruges Bottas little battle we're going to have potentially. Only 2 attempts nearly separating the 3 of them in qualifying, and they all start together 14th, 15th, 16th respectively. There's Philip Fernandez, who's well down on pace by his own standards. What can he achieve in racing conditions as Overstreet coming around to complete her lap. we'll head to the pits. So yeah, you could hear it really lift coming out the final corner. So going to be an interesting race for her. See if she can manage to come through the field, or whether our top group of, well, realistically, our top group of 5 are just going to bolt off into the distance. Great qualifying from Ray, coming home in 7th, one of those Masters. 4 Masters inside the top 10, and well, in fact, half of the top 8 exactly they hold, to be precise. And well, we've got a lot of things to look out for, haven't we, here?
Yeah, we really do. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me to see Stevie up there. He's probably actually driven this track in real life. He's probably logged hundreds of laps around here. So if anybody's going to know how to make a car work around this track, it would be him.
I think you're right there. I think you're right. As we just transition now across into the race session, maybe I'll take you through your grid incredibly shortly. And well, we've got plenty of time, because I think we've got, by my estimation, they've started on the pit straight, haven't they, Charles? So we're going to have a full fat lap here of formation. So let's take you through the grid nice and slowly. Christian Kabanka starting on pole for the final time this season. Jason Green joins him on the front row. Then it's all Masters row 2 in the form of Antonio Race and Jorg Marni. Chris Simpson has Michael McConnell for company on row 3. And then it's continue on with the pattern. Another all Masters row. It's Ray and Alan DeGassius, the All-American row 4. Your top 10 and row 5, that's Megan Overstreet and Dominic Hamada. Row 6 sees Murakami and top qualifier in Spec 2, Benjamin Harris. Meanwhile, row 7 is Jim Brewster and Paul Stevens. For Bruges and Bottas start on row 8, with row 9 being Love and Jason Perry. Fernando Suarez and Gary Walbolt round out your top 20 and row 10 of the grid. Jess Saunders is next to Tim Staino, and then it's Chris Montgomery and Tom Laurie on row 12. Row 13, unlucky for some, hoping not for Philip Fernandez, who did have a bit of a torrid time in qualifying. He starts next to John Toms. Michael Nelson, last driver to set a time, although off pace by his own standards. He starts 27th next to Tim Hendrickson, as we mentioned earlier, the highest I-rating driver in the field, who did not set a time. Neither did Luca Leone and Jason Grider. Well, here we go, Charles. Final time this season. And, well, actually, where have we started on the track? I think that's just before the final corner, isn't it?
Yeah, Griffin Hill Bend. Yeah. Just when you think that you're going to get 4 minutes of a pace lap, you're going to get about 40 seconds. So, but you did a good job to get through it. So, ready to get this race kicked off, and you know, it should be, like I said, it should be a good race. 40 minutes, 30 cars. I'm just looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of action.
Oh, there is. Oh, there is. It's Kabanka leads away the field. Porsche 911 safety car be pulling in incredibly shortly as they make their way up the hill, folks. And line astern, we're going to see Green react well to Kabanka as they crest the hill. And let's get ready to go racing for the final time this season in the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors, as we are Green and we are away down to Turn 1 we go. Who's going to come out on top? Will it be Green? Will it be Kabanka? Kabanka on that inside line, but Green reacting well off the flag. But he's going to have to slot in, but he's got Antonio Race right next to him, who's going to squeeze his way through into second. Green down to third, being squeezed on the outside, but here comes Chris Simpson, the Brit, storming his way through, displacing Marnie. Can he squeeze his way past Green this early stages? Kabanka's checked out, while meanwhile, the rest of the field still remain 2 by 2, like the animals coming onto Noah's Ark right now, as we head down through the Moraine Suite for the first time, down towards 5. Overstreet making progress already, up into 7th so far. Everyone just jockeying for position a little bit as we come hard onto the brakes. Almost a 3 wide there. Marnie just thinks twice about it, backs out, and they're still 2 by 2. Amazing stuff as someone spun.
Yeah,
that's
we had a little spin there. Yeah, for Bruges in turn 5. Obviously, we talked about that earlier. The hardest braking zone in on the lap.
And Harris is the other one. Our leader in the Spec 2 Championship.
Oh
no. Staino, Fernandez involved in that. I think Jason Perry too. Yes, there he is.
Yep, sure. And this is one of the most difficult parts of the track. You're climbing that hill out of 5, going to 6, The car gets very light. You have to be very, very touchy on the brakes. And that, for whatever reason, that outside curb just seems to catch people out. If they just get back on throttle too much, they just lose the rear end of the car, and I think that's what happened here.
Well, let's have a little look. Oh yeah, Perry's too much speed on that inside line. Oh, wow, okay. Much bigger accident than what it first looked, that one.
Yeah, he really did, and that was just kind of weird. That's, but yeah, so 3 or 4 cars involved in that, so that shuffled at least the back half of the order, and we'll see if it affects that Spec 2, that Spec 2 championship.
Well, I think right now, I think Perry should. Sorry, Perry, completely Harris. Sorry, should be okay for that one. Tim Hendrickson, starting from the back, Charles. 15 spots on the opening lap, just 15, up into 13 for right now, on the cusp of that top 10. He's in a train who starts at Michael McConnell in 8th, and Christian Kabanka into the pits. No, maybe not. No, a massive blink.
Yeah, just a big blink. So he's back up. He's still in the front. And so, yeah, Hendrickson obviously doing a great job. He's kind of reading the track and reading the cars and finding his way through. Picking them off one at a time, just using the draft to his advantage. The draft, not as much as what we'll see in the next race, but still pretty significant for these long straights.
Yeah, that's going to be fascinating, the draft here at Road America in the Spec Racer Fords coming up later on the channel. That's Hendrickson trying to claim another place right now. Past Alan Degassis, and Murakami as well could be beaten into that corner. There you go. Beautiful move from the Dutchman to make progress. But Dominic Hamden just following through too. So Murakami getting transferred 2 positions. Meanwhile, up front, race on the attack against Simpson in the back. Actually, no, Simpson just claimed that, hasn't he? Because I'm pretty sure that he was behind.
Yeah, Race was in second just a minute ago. So yeah, that's the pass for P2 by Simpson.
Well, look who's behind them, though. Up into 5th.
Yep.
Overstreet. That's a great start. Up 4.
Yeah, absolutely. She's done well. Once again, just kind of reading the traffic and making her way through.
Picking her way through right now. This pack needs to work together. It needs to do something because Kabanka, well, that gap is diminishing a little bit right now, though. Not had the best carousel, to say the least, has Kabanka, because he's dropped a good, I'd say, couple of attempts already. It could even be 3 attempts as they stream their way down towards Canada corner. And there you go, from 1.1 seconds, it's down to 8 attempts. So he hasn't, well, cleared off into the distance like it appeared before they entered the carousel.
Yeah, and he had the last lap was obviously he was 9/10 faster than Simpson, who's made his way up to second. But I think that's going to be a little different the next time they come and cross the start-finish line.
Well, it's always nervous as well because yes, he's catching Kabanka, but Kabanka yet again around the same part of the track having a big old blink, and it's always worrying, isn't it, when you're catching someone? Yeah, fair enough, 1 point, but then when you're trying to get past them, you don't know where they are when they suddenly disappear. It's so nerve-wracking as there's Murakami making up places. That's him getting past Hamada. So, no, Degassis. Apologies. Oh, yeah. That's Hamada off. Well, yep. So there you go. I was right. He has made his way past Hamada, but not quite in the style how I initially thought.
Yeah, I saw him off in the exit of turn 1. But maybe just a little bit too wide. Had to catch it in the grass and bring it back on. I was watching the timing tower as they crossed the start-finish line that time. Of course, Kabanka with the fastest lap, and then the next group came through, and it was Overstreet. And then the next group came through, and it was Hendrickson. He was 9/10 of a second faster, almost 9/10 of a second faster than Kabanka that last lap.
He's got, 1.6 seconds to make up to McConnell. He's on the trail end of that lead group. Meanwhile, we watch this fascinating battle that's ensuing all overnight right now. Murakami, Suarez on board with Ray right now. Degassis behind us, so's Love, Laurie, Hamada, Bodas, all involved. This lot have been scrapping away since, well, lap 1, which I know, since we're on lap 3, might not sound a lot, but it's a lot of time with the 2 minute 20 lap around Road America.
Yeah, it really is, and you can kind of see how what we're talking about the slip angle there as the tail, as you're just right on the edge of adhesion, as Sir Martin Brundle would say. You're just kind of watching the tail just kind of working his way out, and it's just a matter of just controlling that slide through that corner to keep your momentum headed the right direction.
A lead group have caught right up to the back of Kamanka, down to 4 tenths now. The gap. Meanwhile, that group still battling away as we head up to the front. I did spot on the run down to Camden corners where they would have been. Race just getting past, well, exchange places with Simpsons quite frequently, but eventually getting the job done, and now up into second. It has cost them a couple of attempts, but now the well with his slipstream race, just watch that gap start to diminish and evaporate. So we head down towards turn 1. You see the power of the slipstream, and Simpson moves to the inside of Race, Marnie to the inside of Green. They all make progress, all shuffle around. And then they're going to do it all over again on the run down to 5 out of 3. But who's going to get the best run, Charles Michel? We're going to see a change to the lead by the time we reach 5.
I mean, it's possible the way they're, and obviously Hendricks is still making up that distance on that lead group. But yeah, for them to go too wide and still make up time on Kabanka in this out front is pretty amazing. As we see, is this race going down for the race lead? It is.
It is. Beautiful move. Slingshotted himself past Simpson and Kabanka to take control of things here at Road America. And that's going to slow things up for Hendrickson just a little bit. A few more attempts gained. So when they came into turn 1, Chelsea, the gap was 2 seconds.
Oh, no.
Now down to a 1. That's Ray involved. Oh, it's that Gaggle who was battling over 9th place. Oh, is he going to flip back? No, that's going to be a toe to the pits. He's on his roof.
Toe to the pits. Yep. So that's Stevie Ray back to the pits. And it looked like there were 3 cars involved in that. Let's see what we got here. Just wheel-to-wheel contact, and then 2 more cars. Looks like another one's towed because he got ejected off the track. I couldn't tell who that was. But
that would be Alan Degassis, I believe.
Yeah, and he's what was it, P2 in the Masters class.
Yeah.
So yeah, tough race. You hate to see this, that over the wall ejection back to the pit lane. So they'll, who knows? That may be the end of it for them. It just depends on if they want to get out and finish. Just use it as a practice session for the next race, because we will see most of these guys in the next race. So just to kind of get out and just run a few more laps and get prepped.
So as they come around again, that gap's still 1.6 seconds. So Hendrickson making up a lot of his time, as you would naturally assume, out at 5, and that run through to out of the carousel. Realistically, as they go side by side up the front straightaway. Paul Antonio Race just left on the left-hand side of the track as everyone moves across to the right behind Kabanka, who's going to take control of the lead. But the slipstream isn't quite powerful enough to allow Simpson to push his way past Race, and he remains third at this stage. Meanwhile, Overstreet trying to... No, I had a bit of a look there at Green, but backs out of it, thinks twice, once more. And again, Hendrickson's managed to claim another 10th off these, so to a quarter of race distance, I think realistically probably by... Well, it's going to be... Let's see, two swap around again for the lead. It's surely going to be by half race distance, certainly by the round of pit stops, that Hendrickson should be up on the tail end of these guys, although the more they keep slowing each other up with overtakes like this, or at least attempted ones, failed ones there for Antonio Race.
Yeah, that definitely slowed the pack down there for sure. Yes, the gap's down to 1.2. So yeah, as long as they're making passes on the straights, they can keep that momentum going. But if they're side by side going to the corner, that's just going to bring everybody behind them up that much closer as we see Tom Laurie off the track there in the gravel.
Well, that's a shame because he had a brilliant drive, Charles. I mean, he's still at 5 spots where he is right now. Where he was battling away with Brewster, and whoa, wow.
Just a break, just I think he wasn't expecting Brewster to break there, and couldn't get the car slowed up in time.
I wish it sounded like he was struggling to find a gear in there as well, so we would have hoped for What is that gap at now? Well, they go side by side yet again for the lead. Kabanka just dipping those left wheels onto the grass. Can Snipson sneak through into second? No, he can't. He's going to remain third, but again, they slow themselves up out of Canada corner. And look who's on the back of them within a blink of an eye, and he's going to look like he's going to even sneak a pace past McConnell. Yes, he is. He's up into seventh. That's all Antonio Race taking the alternative rallycross line there.
Yeah. But, as we said, he's over in the grass, but able to collect the car and bring it back on. Lost a bit of momentum. As you can see, the cars, at least Simpson's going to probably get by him here into one. Jorg is looking like he wants to, so let's see if the draft is going to be enough to get him up there. Don't think so. I think Crimson's kind of stuck. Yeah. I think Race. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I think we're going to say exactly the same thing. I think Simpson, he just seems to be, I don't know what it is, because his car, it's not downforce related, but it seems to be lacking that bit of top speed to get the move done. But it seems electric in the corners.
Yeah, I think it was because Kabanka actually was towing Antonio, so it was basically even for them. So he pulled out because he was getting the run, as we see here. But Antonio's still in the draft, so as long as he's able to stay, as we see cars moving over, this Hendrickson just running up the inside in front of and past everybody.
Wow, what a move. 4 into 1 there.
That was fantastic. What a drive down into turn 5.
He makes his way from, he just got past Jason Green, and he passes Race, Marnie, and Simpson. And a 3 wide on the entry into 5 onto the brakes. That is scintillating stuff and about as good an overtaking move as you are going to see all year on iRacing.
Absolutely. So you see Simpson pull out, looking to make the move. Hendrickson just got that run coming down into 5. He's got the toe behind Simpson here and just keeps it on the inside, brakes late, and is able to get the car stopped and turned. That was a fantastic move.
That just ends in death in any other series.
Pretty much, yeah. You've seen GT cars try and do that same thing, and it just never works. But obviously, these cars are a little bit smaller than your standard GT car, so a little more room to maneuver. And obviously, Hendrickson knows what he's doing behind the wheel, and was able to make all that work.
Beautiful moving into the point of now. I think this could well be a change for the lead, and from the back of the grid. So as we head on to lap 7, Kabanka is going to lose the lead yet again, but it's Hendrickson from the back in 7 laps to the lead here from Road America in the final round of the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors. Although Simpson, don't discredit him. He was fastest of anyone in practice.
He was indeed.
He's still, in with a shout, and just shows when the road's not blocked, when Kabanka isn't giving assistance to race, he can move up a place for sure.
Yeah, for sure, and it's also helping that second pack that's led by Monty to a chance to get back up into that lead draft and make this a better race. I'm just sitting here thinking the pit stop is going to be critical in this race, because these cars, as long as they're together like this, it's anybody's race to win.
Well, there goes Simpson down to the inside to take the lead for the first time this evening. Although Hendrickson keeping his car pinned on that outside line, interestingly, just yields a bit to allow Simpson in. Good news though, that gap is shrinking to the cut Marnie, bringing them up to the back of this lead train of 3. But this is what we want to see, is an 8-way fight for the lead on the final lap. That's the ultimatum that we want. There's Jossie Bottas just going a little bit wide.
Yeah, interesting. I was kind of looking at the timing tower again, and John Toms was up 12 spots. He's lost a couple spots to Verbruge and Harris, but still up 10, which is the best of anybody not named Tim Hendrickson.
Well, yeah, that's a very, very good point. But what you've got to consider here as well, where Verbruge and Harris being in front of him, let's not forget they were caught up in that incident around turn 5 and 6 and tumbled to pretty much the back of the field. So they've done epic work to haul themselves back up into, well, pretty much back to where they started.
Yeah, absolutely. They've done a great job of just making up the gaps, and of course, it's had a little help. We've had a couple incidents here and there on the track they've managed to avoid, and that's helped them recover some of those positions. Still, they're 20 seconds off the lead, so they're not in contention for a race win. But for a lot of these guys, just getting that class victory will be enough. Hendrickson pitting early.
Oh, that is. Well, maybe, I mean, has he gone more of a shorter set of fuel to allow him to come through the field?
That's a good strategy call. That might be the answer to that question. We'll see what is. Obviously we won't be able to tell him versus the rest of the field until they come in, and then it's we're kind of comparing his to everybody not named Jason Green, because we know Jason's he's running P5. We haven't talked about him because he's exactly where he wants to be. He's in the middle of the pack, saving fuel as much as he can, I'm sure.
He's one driver you can never discredit. He just,
no,
he's like, as I'm sure Jason won't mind me using this analogy, he's like the creepy person just hanging, looking in through your window from outside while you're sat inside in the comfort of your own home. He's there or thereabouts, lurking in the background, but you could never discredit him because he sits there, he fuel saves, and then all of a sudden, bang, shortest pit stop of anyone, and ends up right at the front.
Yeah, and it obviously tells he's running second in the standings for the championship, and that's how he did it. He's Mr. Consistent, and he's fuel saving the first half. He's getting that short pit stop that's keeping him up to the front of the pack, and then from that point on, he's competing at the end for the end of the race, trying to maximize his positions. And it's worked out for him all season.
Now, our producer Samueli's throwing in another circle into the Venn diagram here for Hendrickson. He's put, he feels that he is faster running alone while others at the top keep battling and are almost holding him up. That's an interesting scenario. So there's Marnie up into second, and I think that could well play into Samueli's, synopsis of this situation.
That is very possible. So he came out and he's in P17. He has got a 4.5 second gap up to Hammander, who's in P16. So yeah, obviously he's got really strong pace. We saw it in practice. He was second. Obviously he's made us run up through the field. So as long as there are some nice gaps in the traffic, as we see the lead pack again, he can just run his line and he can maximize his braking zones. And obviously we saw that earlier, where he's able to just brake a little bit later than everybody else to make passes. So that might be a good strategy for him.
The plot thickens. John Toms into the pits from 14th position. A lot of people have stopped, but they all pretty much will need to stop again. Montgomery also stopping at the same time as Hendrickson. This battling is just replaying into the hands of Kapanka. I mean, yes, they're closing on him due to slipstreaming off one another as it gets tied down into 5 once more. Simpson on the outside, Race on the inside. So they head up the hill towards 6. Yeah, Race playing the, sensible option there, just yielding out of it, tucking back in behind Simpson, but just allows Kapanka to maintain that lead, and the sensible margin of about 9/10 to a second is what it's averaging out at, as they sort of have that elastic abandon effect between him where they'll close up along the straights, they'll battle away, and then they'll lose time, and then that gap grows once again, just like it is now. But Marnie getting a bit slow off the corner, a little bit wide, dipping some wheels onto the grass, and right round the outside goes Chris Simpson to take second place in spectacular style around the carousel.
That was fantastic. Yeah, you just don't see lots of passes on the outside of the carousel in single make battles. But that was a fantastic move and just carried so much momentum through there.
Oh, we love a move like that, don't we? Absolutely, I love it as they come onto the brakes into Canada corner once again. So, sit rep, how well it's going to be when he comes across the line. That's going to be the interesting point, isn't it, for Hendrickson? We can see what sort of pace he's setting with heavier fuel versus this group that are stuck in a bit of a siblings quarrel right now over who's going to have second place. 1.3 seconds now, the gap's at Kabanka, and they're losing on, I'd say, about 2 tenths per lap. 10 to 2 tenths net. I mean, they'll close up as they head down the front straight away. Overstreet looks like it's her turn to say second place now. Although it's only a race. Look, he's got a great run on Marnie. And what's he going to do? Is he going to pass Simpson as well? Yes, he is. Could he make Overstreet? No, he can't quite do it.
I can't quite get there. That was a great run by him. He saw Overstreet on the inside. Says, I think I'll just follow her for a minute. Was able to get that run, a little toe off of Megan. But yeah, I was looking at Hendrickson's pit time, just going off of just, I guess, gut. From what we normally see, the pit times for these cars, obviously he stopped a little bit earlier, but 21-second stoppage time seems really long. Now I know that we're on a big track. They're probably using a lot more fuel than what we would normally see out of these cars, but we're normally seeing, 12 to 13 seconds is what we would see. So that just feels like it's a really long pit. But we'll see how it plays out.
I mean, that's 8 to 9 seconds difference, Charles,
Yeah,
roughly.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Can he make that up from, as our producer Samuli was saying, which you can see he's typing, so we've got some more pearls of wisdom. He's just put, there you go, Hendrickson is faster. He's already onto it before we've even had a chance to look at the timing sheet. Yeah, 21.7, so he is the fastest of anyone on track right now. He's faster than Kabanka, who's second fastest on track with a 21.9 last time around. So he's quicker, but is he quick enough, Charles Michel? That's the killer question. Well, look at that gap, 2 tenths. They've lost a whole heap of time in this battle for second.
Yeah, and this battling right here is giving Kabanka a chance to just kind of check out. So they need to kind of settle this battle for a few laps till they get to the pit cycle, and see if they can make that gap up, because they keep just battling, as we see, like Overstreet off. Yeah, I think she just kind of missed the apex there, or missed a little tap of the brakes, and had to take it wide, but was able to collect it. Now she's back, unless she was maybe setting that up so she could come into the pits. Yep. Oh, it's McConnell coming in. I was thinking she may have just kind of got out of that battle just to allow herself a free entry into the pit lane, but so no, maybe just a little mistake there by Megan.
Well, here's your acid test, Charles. Michael McConnell into the pits, as you said. So comes Gary Wallbolt too. You see him exiting stage right there, as Harris up another position now, going past Brewster to get inside into 9th position. Let's not forget as well, him and Verbruge, who's also in this battle too, were pretty much dead last on lap 1 after an incident at turn 5 and 6. So that is an epic result, because Harris is now at 4 places from where he started. So McConnell still in his pit box, Charles. 17, yep. 18.
18 and a half seconds stopped.
So 3 seconds. Where is Hendrickson, though? Where is he on track? Well, he's already through, Charles.
Yep, right
there he is.
Yeah, he just came by. So he's got past McConnell, who was running in that pack behind the leader. So around P7, P6 or P7. So he's able to make up some of that gap. Now, I don't know if that's enough, because now you've got another almost 2 seconds to Kabanka. So it just depends. I think the rest of these cars, as we normally see, is they'll stay out there as long as they can. So that way their fuel stop is as short as possible. They don't have to take on the extra for the extra laps. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. It's going to be tight.
Well, and as Samuli's just pointing out to us, Charles, says he's absolutely on fire tonight with his analogies. Hendrickson over 1 second faster than Simpson last time around.
Yeah, and part of that is because Simpson's just sitting here, and it's just been constant battles with Race and Monty and Overstreet and Green. So they just keep swapping those positions back and forth, as we see Green and Overstreet. Well, I saw Overstreet, but now Green's off of that even further. So I wonder what happened with him.
Has he come off I think he must have had maybe a bit of a half spin or something, because I'm not. It's not showing in our log that he's come off track. Oh, there comes Kabanka from the lead. Simpson, Overstreet into as well. So, right. Well, now we're going to find out.
Yep,
now we're
we
going to
sure
find
do.
out. And it's all very early as well. Look at it, 26 minutes. Murakami in.
Yeah, I think they've got probably normally 2 more laps based on our lap times here before I think that they're just out. But maybe it's just saying, okay, we just need to be safe here. And as we see Brewster in the pits also, and go ahead and get this fuel on board and get back out there and get the this race going again.
Talking of race, he leads Antonio Race right now. 2 tenths over Jorg Marni. Green has remained out there, but he's 3 seconds behind this group. Just shows that one little mistake, what it could cost you. So Kabanka's coming out the pit, so Simpson and Overstreet. Where is Hendrickson? There he is. And well, that gives you your answer. That leader is completely gone for Kabanka, and Hendrickson with the early stop, the undercut, makes it work. Oh, well, that's surely going to be him into the lead overall after all the random pit stops have checked out. There's only Race, you can see from the graphic now, Race, Marni, Green, Harris for Bruges and Hamenda, who are yet to stop.
Wow. Yeah, you can see it. I mean, he obviously was one of the longer pit stops of the group, but yet just had the pace to overcome it. So fantastic driving by Hendrickson.
This has effectively become the battle for second place now, and not the battle for the lead, because, I mean, with Hendrickson, no one, wow, close enough to slipstream off him, realistically, in that fight for the lead. I mean, they've got Hamenda between Hendrickson and Kabanka, but even so, I mean, Doringhand is not exactly a slow driver whatsoever, but maybe, like, if these guys are tier 1, he's like a top tier 2 spec 1 driver, that sort of area.
Yeah.
Or 1.5, that sort of area. But if he can stay in touch, might stand half a chance for Kabanka. However, the flip side of that coin is that Hamenda does need to stop. So that's going to create a big gap, as there goes Reese, Marni and Green all into pit road. So where are they going to come out in this equation?
My guess is probably right behind Hendrickson. I think that's where everybody's been coming out is, thereabouts. They did manage to stay in line during that, as we see Green coming in with them. So Green obviously is just hoping that he can shorten his pit stop enough that he can hang on to that pack as they come by. But yeah, it's going to be one of those little tight ones, as I can imagine that group coming in at full chat just as these guys are coming out of the pits.
So it's going to be the short stop from Green. He needs it right now. It's up the top of the hill, and cresting it goes.
Yep,
Hendrickson. Yeah, and as you say, with them coming through at full chat, beautiful little camera angle there to display it. They're surely going to fly on past. Oh, no, they're not. No. Antonio Race does it.
There we go. Race with a quick pit stop. 16 and a half seconds. So very quick pit stop compared to everybody else. That's going to make me wonder if he's carried enough fuel at this point. Because even Green, even I say that, Green 15 and a half seconds. But he did what he needed to do to get back into this pack. Race is probably a sitting duck. I think Green obviously is in the group. So as long as he can still hang on to that draft, he might be able to fuel save enough to get to the end. But yeah, Hendrickson obviously just got the pace, so it's going to be a battle for the final 10 minutes here.
Well, our top 6, it is game on. All winners shout at victory here today. We're going to see another overall Masters winner, or at least another Masters on the podium overall. I mean, they've had obviously the win coming at Marni 2 rounds ago at Phillip Island. They've had 3rd places overall thanks to Marni, Murakami and Race. Never had a 2nd overall though.
That is interesting.
Never, this season certainly anyway.
Yeah.
So, well, this is interesting. This is interesting. It is all to play for here. What's Race going to do? Is he going to defend this one? Yes, he is.
Yes.
Says that, squeezes Hendrickson onto the grass, who does the Kevin Estra style pass on the grass there. Round the outside. Swoops through.
And still make the pass.
Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff from the Dutchman.
But, you know, we still got all 5 of these cars that are just basically in contact with each other, and Green's just kind of hanging on to the very edge of this. So he needs just a little bit of fighting up here to bring him back in to this group. And then we got Overstreet and McConnell back in 7th and 8th, but they're 4 seconds off of this pack. But this the fighting for P2 is probably not where you want to be. You need to have a run. And, well, he does have a run. He's looking to make the move to the lead. Not quite, though.
Oh, no. Hendrickson says, no, you don't, York. Marnie, this position's mine, and shuts the door firmly in the Swiss driver's face. Well, not done and dusted, though, because there's a chance here out of 3. Down through the Moraine Suite towards 5. Who's going to come out on top there? Of course, we saw that brilliant move from Hendrickson, where he took 3 people into turn 5. We're going to see something similar from someone else. Marnie moves to driver's left of Hendrickson. Onto the brakes they go. He's going to play it more tentatively. Hendrickson squeezes him, pins him to that inside, but Marnie, just elbowed out a little bit, and I think that's going to keep him in 2nd place, or is it? Yes, it is. But now...
It's great driving by everybody up front, and it's fun to watch because they are just as close as you can be without contact, and side by side battling into the corners. Obviously, as we see now, Green has made up that little gap, and he's back to the end of this. So he's going to hang on here as we're seeing Hendrickson coming through the carousel. He really carries a lot of speed through the carousel and the kink. I was noticing it when he was in 2nd behind race. He just kind of closed that gap up very quickly.
Interesting one for me is that Race, Kabanka, and certainly Simpson, who were playing it very positively this race so far, with overtakes, constantly swapping positions, have elected just to hang tight and bide their time, and almost... This is almost NASCAR style, isn't it, Charles? Because they're almost trying to run down the clock and wait. Just keep themselves in contention up in this group. But when it's all going to kick off on that final lap.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's going to be one of those where we're going to wait for the last lap positioning and or setting themselves up for that last lap run to the end of this race. Yeah, I think Kabanka, I think I'm looking at the timing it's going to get. Kabanka should have plenty of fuel on board. His pit time was right at 20 seconds. Simpson 17.1, Race 16.5. So they may be having to do a little bit of saving here because that seems like it's on the low end of the pit stop times. As we see Monty's making a move and kind of pushing his way out to open up that entry.
I tell you what, it's elbows out, isn't it? But it's firm, but incredibly fair right now. As well, here we go. We're going to make it 3 wide down the back straight. Yes, we are. And what is Kabanka going to do? Is he going to take the pair of them? Marnie backs out of it. Says, no, I don't want to be part of this. This is going to end in disaster. Kabanka from third. Is he going to emerge out into the lead? He's still side by side. But yet again, Hendrickson making that outside line in 5 work for him once more to defend that lead.
Yeah, I think the difference between the others going into that inside at 5 versus what Hendrickson did earlier is I don't think they're on the brakes as late as he is, and so they can't make the pass. And Hendrickson, as we see, Kabanka catching that car on the outside, just way too much speed coming out of 6. But he was able to be late enough on the brakes that he can make the pass on the entry to the corner, and most of the rest of the people haven't been able to do that. So he's able to just keep the momentum up on the outside and just keep them at bay for another lap.
What thing is though, Charles, that gap, half a second, it's going to diminish on the run down to Camden Corner with them being in the slipstream. But they need to keep that gap close, otherwise Hendrickson well, he will just walk all over this group, and he'll walk away and clinch what will be an incredibly comfortable victory. Just needs to regroup themselves, just get back, organised together, and then worry about it later. I mean, I said about it earlier, I mean, Simpson, so much the aggressor earlier on. I mean, that sounds nasty. It really wasn't. He was just so positive with all of the overtakes that he was pulling. Has elected to just sit there, and he's done nothing since he came out of the pits, but remain in what is essentially 5th place now, and was overall, by the time you sorted out the pit stops. So, yeah, mind games being played in the background there. Overstreet and McConnell swapping around position. I mean, we haven't got those two still up in the fight. We haven't. This is an 8-way fight, although it's going to be struggle to call this, just with a meager 6 of them scrapping it out with 3 minutes and a bit of change left to go.
Yeah, they may try to make it 6 wide at the line on this at the final run, just for the heck of it. But yeah, because they're all together, and it's still just anybody's race. And I think we'll have. I think that was 2 laps to go. I think it'll be the last lap next time by. Just kind of looking at the timing sheet there. So everybody's getting prepped for this final lap. Getting in the position they think they need to be in. Obviously, Hendrickson of all of this group is probably the only one that is probably comfortable enough to be at the front of this pack and be able to fend these cars off. I think everybody else would rather be behind instead of in the lead. So I think everybody's where they want to be for this final lap and a half.
Wow, meanwhile, further down through, that's interesting, because Farouche and Harris have been working together to come their way through the field. They're battling over that last place, even inside the last top of the top 10. And Farouche now leading Spec 2 because of it. And I think this could, no, I'm going to have to check my notes, Charles, because I don't think Farouche, has he claimed the victory this season? Yes, he did, back at Willow Springs in class. So it could make it his second win of the season, which is going to be astounding. Nearly as good as Tim Staino's up an incredible 21 spots to finish 3rd in class last time out at Road Atlanta. And I mean, for Bruges, for a driver that used to bumble around the back, looked incredibly off pace. What a turnaround in the space of a couple of seasons for him.
Yeah,
astounding stuff.
Yeah, you have to give him credit for just working with the car and just being a student and learning how the car behaves on the track. So, yeah, obviously much improved driver at this point. I think that should be white flag. Yep, it is.
It is indeed. It is indeed. And everyone knows it, because to the inside goes Marnie to take control of things. Kabanka trying to squeeze Hendrickson to nip 2nd place off him. Can't quite do it. Marnie defends the line on the inside in towards Prius. Antonio Race squirreling and wiggling around like a beaver's tail there. But Hendrickson to driver's right of Marnie. He's so strong around the outside of 5 plus. He's got the run down the hill as well. Here comes Kabanka, 3 wide yet again. Marnie pulled out of this last time. Is he going to do it this time? Yes, he does. Yep. He sets the inside behind Kabanka, who surely could have done enough. But here comes Hendrickson on the grass yet again to try to squeeze his way through into the lead once more. But Kabanka still side by side. It's as close as you like between the pair of them, but Hendrickson does it. And with that, well, there's one big chance now left, potentially 2. It's the run into Canada corner and then the run to the line, Charles Bushell.
Yeah, absolutely right. So they're going to be setting it up here for this run. You need to carry as much momentum through the carousel as you can, and basically just keep the foot to the floor through the kink, and see where you come out on the other side.
I mean, there's so many names to consider in this. Simpson, Green as well, just sat quietly at the back of this train. What have they got up their sleeve too? Who's going to claim this one? So, Green's wide, so that's surely going to factor him out of this situation. Here comes Marnie on Kabanka. Wow, Kabanka staunchly defends that inside, but that's because he's going to try and get the move done here on Hendrickson, side by side through Canada corner. Oh, they almost bang wheels on the exit. But it's Hendrickson who's going to have the inside line once more, and Kabanka can't keep it pinned there. But here we go, folks, the run to the line. Here comes Simpson up into 4th place. But who's going to claim it as they head up the hill for the final time? It's going to be as close as you like. Hendrickson, has he done enough? I think he might just have as they crest the hill. Here comes Kabanka, checkered flag out. Who's going to get it? At 400ths of a second is Hendrickson.
Half a car length. That was fantastic racing. Hendrickson was able to just absolutely, as we see, Overstreet just nipping McConnell for P7. Just was able to carry so much speed on the outside of those corners that I think that was the difference for him for the win today.
Well, we're not done yet, Charles, because this is for the battle for the last place inside the top 10. Will it be for Bruges? Will it be Harris for the win in Spec 2? And Harris just ahead, and I think he might clinch the final Spec 2 win of the season, and he does by about half a tenth.
Yeah, that's the championship and the class win in the race, so Murakami kind of stopped there. So congrats to Harris on that as well. Wow. Great racing all the way around from start to finish. Has been a fantastic race to watch.
It has. Well, what a way to round out the season. What a way to round out the season. We weren't disappointed. What was it, 2 seasons ago when we saw that fight to the finish between, for the championship that time, between Overstreet and Green. They finished 6th and 7th today. That's what tells you everything you need to know about how things have panned out. But 400ths of a second line between Hendrickson and Kabanka. Hendrickson must have been absolutely sweating it. I know I would have been.
Yeah, for sure. I would have been. I probably would have wrecked turn 2 or turn 3. So it's, but yeah, it was just great racing. And it's good to see those big packs like that on this draft track. And for the people who are watching this race, stick around for the next one.
Oh, definitely. I'd say we're waiting for the last few drivers to come across the line. Let's have a chat to some of our drivers. First off, Christian Kabanka joins us. I mean, what a race, my friend. What a race. It looked like incredible fun. They yo-yoed around so much. Just talk us through it from your perspective.
Yeah, it was a crazy race. I had to manage a lot. I had to manage the guys behind me, and had connection issues throughout the race. I was going to get disconnected. Somehow I was to finish, and well, I win, but that was as close as a second place as it was going to get.
Well, I certainly can tell you having connection issues. Your Discord just dipping in and out a little bit there. So, well worth holding on for, and glad it held out for you. I mean, just talk us through that final lap. I think you were third coming into it. Just, talk us through what was going through your head.
It was I slap a bit farther back than I actually wanted. I kind of wanted to be set, but able to make the leap to first, or try to at least fight for first. So I had also manage the gap to Tim to make within his draft, so I can get the slip. So fight off Mani. So
well, Christian, your connection dipping in and out even more so there. We'll leave it there, but congratulations on second place. Congratulations, Spec 1 champion for 2023 Season 4. Wow, what a season, my friend. Congratulations.
Thank you, and great progress throughout the season. Thank you.
Thank you. Absolute pleasure. Christian Kabanka there. As he sat waiting, and Charles, and I think everyone's not quite across the line. I think we're just waiting on Tom Laurie. I'll let you have a chat to Jorg Mani. Winner in Masters.
Winner in the Masters class and the Masters class champion for the season. Jorg, congratulations.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot.
So I won't speak for Tim, but I think he probably agrees with me. Fantastic race from start to finish. These big these big long straightaways allowed a lot of cars to stay up in the front. and just kind of battle. And we obviously saw you with Antonio and Chris and Kabanka, and then all of a sudden here comes Hendrickson. So just talk about your race strategy today.
Actually, my qualifying was not really top, but it was good. And I knew in the draft you're going to be breeze past on the first straight like hell because nobody takes care about cold tires. So I hold myself back, shifted back in first gear and the hairpin on turn 5, and I could avoid any damage, any crashes whatsoever. And then I thought, okay, everybody out front is really quick. I'm not much quicker than them, even quick. And then I tried to stay behind them, and that helped me. And for once, a good pit stop helped me as well.
Yeah, for sure. We did see it was a very solid pit stop for you. Good stoppage time, no issues on entry or exit. And it was you and Antonio, and I think then Jason came behind, all pitted together, which I think also was a big deal. I think it enabled you to all you guys to just kind of stay with that lead group.
Yeah, that was definitely true. But Jason had a slow time before. He crossed the track a bit too heavy, and that's why he lost. Otherwise, he would be possibly out front of us after the pit stop.
Well, once again, congratulations, Jorg. It was a fantastic race, and congrats on the championship.
Thanks a lot, and thank you guys for broadcasting our races. It's fantastic. Thank you.
Next up, we'll have a chat with our winner here today in Spec 2 and champion in Spec 2, Ben Harris. Congratulations, my friend. Well, I mean, what a race of emotions for you. You know, in the first lap, pretty much down to last place. I then recovered all the way to, well, not just a class win, but a spot inside the top 10 too.
Yeah, it feels like a repeat of last week. Pretty much the same thing. Lap 1 at Central End. It was pretty amazing. Jim, Sander, and I all kind of got tangled up first lap, and all three of us were able to finish 10, 11, and 12. So, I mean, all three of us were fighting the whole way and just having a great time out there. It was awesome.
Yeah, it definitely seemed to wait. But, I mean, talk about, you know, after the pit stops, yourself and Sander Verbruge, incredibly close to one another, trading places, left, right, and centre. And then it comes down to, you know, that run to the line. When did it set in that you'd managed to win?
Right after that final turn, once I saw that I had a slight run on him, I knew with the draft there was nothing he could do aside from running me off the track.
Well, I mean, it must have been such a relief to you considering what happened in the very, very early stages. And talk about your season realistically. I'm just totting them up quickly now. There's 3 wins on the bounce for you in class. The side of your 3 prior wins to that coming at Mid-Ohio, Laguna, and Rudskogen. I mean, it's been a dominant season. You've won, you know, half the races of this season.
Right. There's been some great racers in the Spec 2, and it's been a great time. And it's not every week. It's not guaranteed. You know, I always have to fight for it. It's always a great time though.
Definitely. Well, congratulations. We'll let you go and celebrate. That's your winner here today in Spec 2 and your series champion in Spec 2, Benjamin Harris. And, well, just have a little run through our classified results. Everyone across the line. A little bit of change in which we normally do things, but just waiting for lots of drivers to head across. There you go. From the back of the grid to the win, Tim Hendrickson. But it wasn't as comfortable as what may looks on track. 0.03 of a second separated himself in second place, Christian Kabanka. Yorgmani making another win for him in class, and yet again a Masters on the podium overall. Chris Simpson, 3rd in class, 4th overall. Antonio Ray, 2nd in class, 5th overall. Then Green, Overstreet, McConnell, Murakami, 3rd in Masters, 9th. Then Harris, who we've just spoken to, completing a top 10 and taking that win in Spec 2. Verbruge 2nd in class with Brewster, Walbot, Montgomery 3rd in Spec 2. Then Bodis, Hammander, Saunders, Stevens, and then it was Staino and Fernandez to round out your top 10. Tom Laurie, 21st last driver to finish on the lead lap. Andrew Leb 1 lap down. Degassi is 2 laps down into retirements now. Toms we lost on lap 8. Suarez on lap 4. Ray on lap 3. Perry and Nelson on the opening lap with Grider and Leone not making the start. Wow. What a season, Charles Bouchard. And what a race to round things out. Just, well, if you can, try and surmise it.
Oh, I mean, this is my, I guess, third season off and on of doing this, and it's just so much fun to watch these cars on track. I've just thoroughly enjoyed it, and we've had some surprises. Obviously, last to first is a pretty big surprise with Hendrickson, but then we've got our normal, our everyday weekend warriors that are here week in and week out, and they always put on a good show, and they're always in competition for championships. It's just been amazing.
It has indeed. What a season. We're not done dusting here from Road America. Coming up in around about an hour's time, we will have the Spec Racer Fords here. But from the Formula Fords, we're done and dusted for another season. Thank you very much for joining us. Congratulations to our champions in the form of Kabanka, Harris and Marnie. And from myself, Tim Cox, Charles Bouchard and Samula Kume. Thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you soon here on Apex Racing TV.